Hey everyone! Welcome to today's video. I wanted to share with you my top stationery products from 2024. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. Starting with my favorite notebook slash journal, I rediscovered the Leuchtturm 1917 A5 dotted journals this year. As some of you may know, I have been using B5 dotted journals specifically from Archer and Olive and Notebook Therapy for the past couple of years. So towards the end of this year, I was kind of craving just a smaller notebook to transition back into, something that was a little easier to carry around with me when I would go to the office or when I would be traveling. So I got back into the A5 size. And I have just been loving it. Like, it's just been so nice being able to take this around with me and not have it be super huge or super heavy. In comparison, then this is my Archer and Olive B5 bullet journal, and it's very thick, very heavy. I've added quite a bit of images in here, so that also just adds to the bulk and weight. So it's definitely a lot heavier to carry around compared to the little A5 Leuchtturm, which I do put like stickers and washi tape and stuff in here, but it's not very thick. It doesn't add too much bulk like the images do for the Archer and Olive, as well as putting in watercolor paper. So whenever I create my monthly cover pages, then I paste them in here, and so that also adds to the additional bulk and weight. So this Leuchtturm A5 has definitely been my favorite place to go to, especially during this later part of the year. Moving on to my favorite storage accessories or storage organization pieces from 2024. Starting off with this spinning caddy that I got from Walmart. Some of you may have already seen this in my stationery organization video, which I will link right here if you would like to see that. But basically, it was very affordable. I believe it was between $10 to $20, and it just comes with 7 different compartments. So 6 on the outside and then 1 cup in the center. So as you can see, it just has a lot of storage area. You can store a lot of different things in here. This is just where I store all of my Prismacolor colored pencils, some miscellaneous fine liners and gel pens, along with my scissors, my X-Acto knife, and then like a tape runner, my whiteout runner, and then just some bulldog clips. So it's just very nice to have. And then of course when I need something, I can just spin it around to find whatever I am needing from this. So again, this was definitely a great find from Walmart if you are interested in finding something new to store your stationery in. The second storage item that I wanted to include in this top video are these clear acrylic pen cubes. Earlier in the summer, then I was able to purchase 6 of them off of Amazon.com, and I went over this as well in my stationery storage video, but I am no longer able to find that exact listing, but they do still sell very similar cubes like this online. So if you are curious, you can definitely still find something similar. It comes with 6 of these cubes, and so technically you have like 24 triangles that you can sort your pens in. So I'll go ahead and include kind of like a B-roll of what my shelf looks like with all 6 of them stacked together. But I have just found that this is a great way to store my pens, especially since so many of them, you're supposed to store them horizontally rather than vertically like this. But it's nice to be able to store them horizontally like this, and that way the ink either doesn't dry out or it doesn't get clogged at the tips. So this has just been a huge game changer for me in being able to store my stationery. Moving on to stickers. The stickers that I would highly recommend and have been my favorite since discovering them are from the brand BGM. It's called like Iride Holographic sticker set. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but basically they just come with some very beautiful dainty little stickers, and they have holographic accents to them. So they just add a very whimsical, delicate touch to your journal spreads, and they're very thin, so they shouldn't add very much bulk to your pages. They do have like a little bit of texture where the holographic foil is, but it's very thin and not very noticeable. And so this pack specifically, then they all come with 3 sheets, but this one in particular is the nature set. So it comes in like the green packaging. But as you can see, then this first sheet, I actually cut off some of the top here because I used those. But this first sheet here, that it comes with some fruits. So like some berries, some kiwis, cherries, and just some leaves and foliage. The second sheet, then it comes with some birds, some florals, as well as some books, and it looks like an ink bottle, which is very perfect for us stationery lovers. And the third sheet, then this one comes with more of like the landscape stickers. So mountains, trees, some more flowers, very beautiful. So it's kind of hard to see just because it is on transparent paper, but hopefully you are able to kind of see it. So yeah, these have been some absolute favorite stickers of mine since I got them. So these are available on jetpens.com, and they have a lot more varieties that you can choose from. It's not just this nature collection. So I feel like I will definitely be wanting to pick up some more in the future and try them out. Moving on to washi tape. The washi tape that I have found myself coming back to time and time again this year has been this adorable little trio, and this is the Mark's Maste Perforated Writable Washi Tape in the watercolor selection. So it just comes with 3 different variations of watercolor strokes. The pink one here, then it's basically like the entire background is watercolor, and then the middle roll here, then it's basically like just a dab of watercolor from a brush. And then this third roll, then it's basically like an actual brush stroke of watercolor. So they're just very beautiful and very versatile. You can use them in so many different ways. As the name suggests, then these are perforated, so you can just tear them off and lay them down on the paper just like that. Or for more of like the blobs or brush strokes, then you can go ahead and like cut those so that it looks more like a sticker. And again, these are also writable, so you can either write on top of them as like titles or headers in your journal, or you can doodle on them, which is very beautiful. That's one of my favorite things to do, especially with the little blobs of watercolor. So I've just been having so much fun using this little set in my journal. Moving on to a recent discovery, but quickly becoming my favorite stamp, is actually this tiny little Pilot Frixion stamp. So this one specifically comes in a red shade, and it's supposed to look like a play button. So my sister actually got me this recently, and I have just fallen in love with it. Like, it's so itty bitty and so cute. It's very nice for just quickly stamping stuff in my bullet journal, specifically for the way that I like to write down when I schedule my videos. Then I write them down in a specific section in my bullet journal, and I used to just hand draw the play button, but now I have this adorable little stamp that just makes it so much easier and adds a pop of color to the page as well. Oh, would you look at that? It's actually matching my nails. How interesting. But yeah, because it's part of the Frixion line, then technically you should be able to erase it with this. So I'll go ahead and just include a clip of that right here for you, just to kind of show how that performs. But yeah, I've been really loving this so far, and it's quickly becoming one of my favorite products from this year. From what I've seen, they do make a large variety of other little stamps like this too, more like the emojis or like facial expressions. So that's definitely something that you can check out if you are interested in these little stamps, and they do come in different colors as well. So there is that. Alright, so moving on to my favorite pencil and eraser combo from this year, then I picked up the Tombow Monograph pencil and eraser duo, and they came in this mint color selection, which I thought was just very refreshing and very cute. It has been such an incredibly long time since I last purchased a mechanical pencil, let alone like any pencil. So I was very eager to try something new, and I've always heard such great things about the Tombow Monograph mechanical pencil. They do have a lot of different colorways that you can choose from, They have a couple of different ones as well where you can like just shake the pencil and the lead will come out. But this one here, then I believe I just have like a normal one, which is perfectly fine. It does obviously come with an eraser that you can twist up. And the cool thing about this is that it does have a lock mechanism. So currently then it's in the up position. So it just protects the lead from actually coming out. And when you want to be able to activate the lead, then you just press down on the clip. And that just allows the lead to come out. And then if you want to just lock it in place, then you go ahead and just push it back up. And that way the lead no longer comes out and it also cannot go back in. So we can go ahead and just push that back in and then lock it up so that it's very convenient for traveling and you don't accidentally have your lead come out and break a bunch of lead in your pencil bag or anything. So I thought that that was a very cool feature about this pencil and wanted to mention it. And then as for the mono eraser, as some of you may know, I've been strictly a kneaded eraser type of person for the past several years just because I really do not like having the extra eraser debris to have to deal with. But I made an exception for this one just because I had heard so many good things about this, and although it does still kick up some of the eraser debris and eraser dust, then I think that it does a really good job at clumping together so that there isn't a lot of the dust just hanging around. It's usually just like a couple of strands. So that has been very nice, and I think that this erases extremely well. Like, you hardly even have to apply much pressure. You hardly have to erase, and it does a very great job at erasing. So I think it's definitely become a very good competitor to my much loved kneaded eraser. Moving on to my favorite gel pens of the year. This may be no surprise to some of you, but I have to say that my favorite gel pen discovery for this year have been the Uniball One line of pens. So I have a couple of different variations here. This one here is just the traditional Uniball One gel pen in the white body that you will find. This one here is the Uniball One P, so it's a shorter and chubbier body, which is supposed to help with hand fatigue when you are writing. And this one here is also a Uniball One, but it's just in the black body, and it has the rose gold clip. These two have black inks inside, and these come in different colors. One of the main reasons why I fell in love with this line to begin with was just the beautiful variety of very dusty and muted shades. So I have a lot of these in some of my absolute favorite shades, and I have just been loving journaling with these. The ink flow, I find, for the most part, is very consistent. It's very smooth, easy to write with. I picked up this little Uniball One P because I just thought it was so cute, and this is one of my absolute favorite colors, so I definitely could not resist. It was definitely an impulse buy, but I love it so, so much. And this was actually the first Uniball One that I tried with just the basic black ink, and I fell in love with it. But because of the body size, then I wanted to get one that was slim enough to fit in my pen loops. So I recently picked up this Uniball One just in the black body, very sleek, and it comes with the rose gold clip. So I've been really loving the ink formulation for the black specifically. It's just very dark and opaque compared to even like some of my favorite gel pens before, such as the Uniball Signo DX and the Pilot G2. So these have been performing so, so well, and I have just been obsessed. I've already talked your ears off so much about just this normal line of the Uniball One gel pens in so many of my recent videos, so I'm sure some of you are a little sick and tired of hearing about them, but I just love them so, so much. Now, I did not expect to be saying this at all this year, but I have recently discovered this ballpoint pen, the Jetstream in the 0.5 millimeter size. And I've said this before in one of my videos, but I had never been a fan of ballpoint pens. I feel like all of the ones that I tried were just the very like typical doctor's office, like business labeled ballpoint pens that just would skip all the time, didn't write consistently, wasn't very dark or opaque. But that was until I tried this Uni Jetstream, which to my surprise writes incredibly smooth, and it writes so similarly to a gel pen. Although the ink is not as dark as a gel pen, I think it's the writing experience that truly does it for me. It just writes incredibly smooth and it looks very even and beautiful on the page. In my past experience with previous ballpoint pens, then I felt like they would often skip a lot, and I don't find that to be the case with this one. So this has quickly become one of my favorite pens to use. It's just very easy to write with and glides on the paper so smoothly. Definitely the best ballpoint pen that I've ever tried. Moving on to fountain pen, then this is also a recent discovery, but it is the Twsbi ECO fountain pen. I'll be honest, I haven't tried too many fountain pens throughout my time, but this one has definitely been the best one that I've tried. Earlier this year, I also purchased a Pilot Metropolitan, which I thought was very nice and luxurious, but one thing that I truly love about this fountain pen is that you can actually put the ink in it yourself rather than having to buy separate cartridges, which is what I had to do for the Pilot Metropolitan. So I think the added experience and ability to just basically syringe your own ink inside, I think it just makes for a more intimate and personal touch with this fountain pen. And it also writes very beautifully. The nib is extremely fine. I also really like the packaging of this. I like that you are able to see the body mechanisms on the inside, but I also appreciate that it is a twist off rather than a cap. It just provides more security for when you are traveling with this, and you don't have to worry about your cap falling off and possibly damaging the nib. So I believe that this one is the extra fine nib that comes with it. So I really just have been loving this so much. I'm looking forward to trying out some more inks and just kind of getting more into fountain pens. So I'm really looking forward to that in 2025. Alright, moving on to highlighters. My favorite highlighter set that I discovered this year is actually the Zebra Mildliners Neutral set. It just comes with 5 of these very gorgeous shades that I have just been yearning for the Mildliner collection. I just love these very earthy neutral tones contrasted with their more colorful and vibrant shades. This has definitely been my favorite pack of Mildliners since I picked them up. I've used them so much in so many of my journal entries. I honestly just can't say enough about them. I find that these highlighters are just very pigmented but very soft at the same time, so they look very beautiful in your journals and books. So they're just gorgeous, and I really love this color selection. For favorite brush pens of the year, I have to say that they go to the Sailor Shikiori brush pens. I have just really fallen in love with the formulation of these as well as the color range. They come in such a beautiful variety of shades that are inspired by the seasons, so you do get a lot of those very earthy jewel tones that are often missed in other lines of brush pens. So I definitely have a preference for more of the dusty, soft, neutral shades, and I feel like the Sailor Shikiori line of brush pens truly delivers on that. I find that the brush nib is pretty flexible but not too soft, so it is very beginner friendly. I think there's a good amount of give to the nibs, but they're not too hard or too soft. And what's nice about these is that they are double-ended, so they also come with a fine end where you can just use that to journal with or doodle with, and then you can do like brush lettering or color in larger sections with the brush nib. So I highly recommend these if you are looking for a new brush pen to try and you are also like me who prefers a more neutral, earthy color palette. And last but not least is my favorite marker discovery for this year, which would be the Zebra Clickart markers. There's just something about these markers where after they dry on the page, they almost look like they have a raised painted texture to it. It's kind of hard to explain and hard to capture on camera, but it almost has like a 3D effect to them, which I've never noticed with any other pen. It almost looks like a paint pen once it dries on the page, which is so very interesting. But aside from the cool finish, in my opinion, then they also just have a huge variety of colors, and they also have some colors that are just very soft and muted that are just completely up my alley. The markers are very pigmented and very vibrant, so easy and fun to write with. So I've been loving using these so very much this year, and I am looking forward to just getting more and more use out of them in the coming years. Well, that does it for my top stationery finds from 2024. Let me know what your favorite finds from this year are. Do we have any of them in common? Are there any products that I didn't mention that you are absolutely passionate about? Do let me know. I love hearing from you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I truly, truly appreciate you, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.